All right. So I think Jeff is running a few minutes late, but not a big deal. We will go ahead and dive right in, and I will add him here in a couple minutes. So today, after talking with last night, obviously we felt like, oh, hold on one second. He just joined in. Let me add him into the conversation. All right, there we go. Jeff, you are now a co-host. So Jeff and I were talking last night, and we thought that this topic of just growing your network, especially professional network, was kind of timely, right, for what's going on. It's a great time of year to really spend time on your database, your sphere, and that includes the sphere within your social networks, right? So Facebook has its own sphere. Instagram will have its own sphere. LinkedIn's going to have its own sphere. Now, in my opinion, one of the most underutilized platforms still, even though I've been talking about it for a while, is LinkedIn. And so this morning, we kind of wanted just to take this class to go through LinkedIn and really try and understand how you guys can leverage this platform to be really beneficial. And the reason that I am so hot on LinkedIn from a real estate perspective is really twofold. One, the organic reach that your posts can get, and by organic, I mean free, the reach and viewership that you can get on LinkedIn right now reminds me a lot of what we saw from Facebook 5 years ago, right? Where you can not have a huge sphere at all or a huge following on the platform, not even post that much, make a post and get 500-600 views pretty quickly on that post is a lot like what we used to see. Where now on Facebook, excuse me, if you're doing less than, if you're getting 10%, you're doing amazing from an organic reach perspective of your following, where the average that I'm seeing on LinkedIn is 10%, so, or higher, right? Just depends. But so I think that's number one. Number two is the platform is built around people who have jobs, which means they have money, and it's hold on a second. Jeff keeps changing accounts on me. There you go.
Keeping you on your toes, man.
Yeah, there was like 7 Jeffs in there at one point. So it's filled with professionals, right? These are people who have jobs, which means they have money, which means that they are far more likely to be able to do a real estate transaction. So that's obviously a good thing, but also just the way that you can engage with them. We talk about all the time, you really want to connect with someone, be contextual to them. And on LinkedIn, you're going to get a very nice view into who they are and what they do for a living, and a lot of indicators of their personality type before you ever even engage with them, which means that when you do engage, you can really, if you do it strategically and you do it properly, you can really connect with people on this platform and build some really strong relationships. And as we're going to go through this morning, the platform makes it very easy to do, right? Unlike Facebook, unlike Instagram, where yes, you can add people to your network, but it's not done very strategically, right? It's just, oh, you may know this person. That's not how LinkedIn does it. Jeff, I'll let you add anything you want to add in, and then we can share a screen and dive in.
Yeah, we'll share screen time. Yeah, basically take advantage of this time. I just got a phone call this morning on my way in this morning from a guy that was the alumni advisor at my fraternity at the University of Florida. God knows how many years ago. And last time I saw him was probably 6, 7, 8 years ago. I hosted an event at my house on Reddington Beach. And he just called me and said, hey, we normally take a trip after Christmas. We're not going anywhere abroad. We thought about you. Where would you suggest we go? Do you have any connections, any places we could stay, any VRBOs, any hotels? And that's the beauty of it. He said, Dan, I like seeing your kids. I follow you on Facebook. I see what's going on with you guys. And I've talked to the guy forever, but it's top of mind creeping in, right? You want to just cut all of it out. That's all we're talking about. And this guy happened to be a Facebook creeper. But to your point, there's other friends that see stuff on Instagram. Other people see things on LinkedIn. I have not been keeping up on my LinkedIn at all, right? So I'm guilty of it, as many of you are also, and that's okay, right? It's okay. But if I want to, and I will be more active on that, we're just going to kind of dive in and kind of show how and why. And but guys, it's free, top of mind creeping. That's all it is. You're just staying on top of people's minds. And then when real estate happens in their world, if they trust you and they like you, you're going to get the phone call. It's that simple, and it's free, guys. So let's jump in. Let's go in there. And I'm going to take some good notes too, because I, like a lot of you, need to get way better at my LinkedIn. So guide us, Puma.
And listen, I think, it's not just you guys, right? For the longest time, you guys should see LinkedIn, right? Jeff,
now just a black screen, just a black screen right now. There we go. Gotcha.
Okay. So I, like you guys, for the longest time, thought that LinkedIn and thought of LinkedIn strictly as, okay, when I need to go get a job, right, I'll go on LinkedIn. Or when I need to go hire someone, I'll go on LinkedIn. And to be fair, for a long time, that's what it was, right? It was really a job board, social network, recruiting type platform. Over the last few years, that has completely changed. And it really has become the professional social network with content-based, a lot of learning, a lot of training, a lot of coaching, a lot of just business-focused content. But it doesn't exclusively have to be that either. And I'll show you some examples of that today, because it has evolved. Now, we have to always be contextual to the audience, and we have to understand that when I, Mike Puma, am on LinkedIn, I'm looking in a different mindset, very likely, than when I am on Facebook or when I'm on Instagram, right? I'm not coming to LinkedIn to check out photos of my friends, family, Christmas trip, right? That's not the place I'm going to do that. Now, is it going to make me mad if I see it? Of course not. But that's not what I'm talking about posting here, because it's not what your consumers coming here for. Your consumers coming here for in a professional mindset to network and connect in that way. And so if you can think about it from that perspective, then I think it'll play out. But just in my feed, when I happen to open it up, there are some agents that are taking advantage of LinkedIn. Like, here's a real estate post, right? The first actual couple posts in my feed were real estate posts. I think if I scroll down, there was another one. Yeah, here's another one. So these are agents that are trying to take advantage of it. Now, just want to point this out, and if Nan happens to see this, I apologize. But the one thing that Nan is not doing very well is he's not leveraging these hashtags. As I've said before, guys, these hashtags are keywords that you need to be thinking about your consumer. So unless Nan's only goal here is to get other agents to see this post, using the hashtag realtor or the hashtag real estate is not going to work. Okay. There is not a consumer on the planet who's coming in and just searching those terms on this platform. It's not happening. So you need to take in mind that I would be hashtagging the area. So if I'm in Leesburg, I'm going to hashtag Leesburg, hashtag Florida, hashtag, I'm going to do a bunch of consumer hashtags here. And the hashtags work very much like they do on Instagram, right? So just keep that in mind. So you can leverage your hashtags in these posts, right? But here's the advantage, just base level power of LinkedIn, right? So starters, when we comment on content, which I highly encourage you to do, because you should if you're following the daily marketing guide, when you comment, so here's an example. William commented on this post. Look what shows up. It literally says what William does for a living. So you mean to tell me that if I have Century 21 Beggins real estate agent in here and I just go around commenting on other professional stuff, my comments literally going to tell them what I do for a living, and subconsciously they're going to see that I'm in real estate. Interesting. And all I had to do is write a comment. Guys, that's super powerful. I think it's so simple, but I think it's really underrated on the power of that, because as someone who does avidly consume now on LinkedIn, I go into these articles and I'll go into the comments just to see who's commenting and what they do for a living. Like I'm curious, and I'll see if they commented something that I agree with or that I like, then I'm going to see what they do for a living, and we're typically going to connect. So just keep that in mind as you go through this. Just using this at the base level of coming in and commenting will do wonders for your business. Okay. Now, the other thing is, before we get too far into this, number one, especially if you've been on in a while like Jeff hasn't, you've got to come in and make sure your profile is complete. Okay. Because they are going to come visit you. So you can see here, I don't have that big of a following. We'll go in. Honestly, I don't even know how many people I have, but you can see in the last week, I've had 810 people come view my profile. Why? I don't know. A lot of them might be salespeople, but that's important, right? So that means 810 people came in and saw. So whatever I have in my profile is what they're seeing. And so that's important. So if you want to be taken seriously on this platform, keep in mind this is a professional platform, then you've got to come in and do that. So let's see, I have 500 plus connections. Let's see if it actually shows me how many connections I have. Click on this real quick, and then we'll come back to the profile. So it looks like I have 5,600 connections on here. Okay, so a decent amount. But that's over years too. And that's honestly, guys, that speaks to the organicness of LinkedIn though, because I haven't tried, right? So to get 5,600 people to connect with me without really trying is ridiculous. So that just goes to show you how powerful this could be when you actually put strategy behind it. Okay. Now, here's where we're going to get serious about LinkedIn, right? We've got to have our profile complete. So this About Us section, if I were you, this is going to be that bio that we talk so much about that has DISC in it. I'm going to go put that bio right here in the About Us section, because this is typically the number one thing most people are looking at when they come in. They want to know about you, who you are. Then you're going to come down and you're going to fill out all your experience. So not only real estate, but what you do before real estate, right? Put that all in here, because what LinkedIn is organically going to do is start to source out commonalities and possible connection points based on your past experience, based on where you worked, based on your job titles, based on all that. It's going to start doing a bunch of legwork for you to start finding other people to add to your network that you have common interests with, right? It's doing it all for you. And so we'll dive deeper into that in here in a second. But that is huge potential for you, but it can only do that if you're filling it out and giving it the opportunity, right? Put in where you went to school. If you went to college, put that in. High school, you could add high school in here. So add that stuff in, because again, it's going to find commonalities. And then once you do that, it's going to start reaching out to your network. And if it finds people, so it finds that I was at, DermMed Partners, and it's going to go source other people who are at DermMed Partners that were at there the same time I am, and it's going to ask them to write a recommendation about me. So you'll start getting these recommendations. That helps too, right? So what if it started doing that? What if you started having your past clients write recommendations on what it was like to work with you on your LinkedIn profile was just filled with past client reviews? I think that would be pretty attractive, right? Other professionals are going to see how professional you were. So that's a huge thing, right? And then you have the opportunity to pick interests, things that you're interested in, groups. You can join groups just like you can on Facebook on here as well, okay? Now, here's what happens. This is pretty cool. So as people come to visit, I can see who else they viewed, right? They viewed me. Who else did they view? So these are likely common interest here. But also, and I can get there kind of two different ways, but people you may know. So if I click show more here, these are all people that it's picking out based on my profile of people who I may know or may want to connect with. Okay. And if I come up here and click my network, let's let this load. Come on, you can do it. It's taking forever today. By the way, Jeff, I did have a really nice moving truck virtual background set up here, but I kept getting blended into it. I was very excited.
I wasn't even going to say it. I know the seed's planted. It does what it does.
Let's see, my computer's being difficult this morning. Okay, so this is what I love that I've only seen LinkedIn do. This first section here, people in the real estate industry you may know. Is it worthwhile to you to network with other real estate agents? Probably, right? Why not? So this automatically pulls in people in the industry that I may know. And I can come and just connect. Okay. If I want to learn something about them, go learn something about them. Now, if I keep scrolling, trending people in your network. So these are people that are in my network already that are pretty popular that I may want to go follow their actual business page. Okay, cool. Trending pages. It'll give me all the trending pages that kind of relate to our industry that I may want to go follow and be interested in. People skilled negotiating. And if I keep scrolling down, I can start following all these different types of connections based on their connection to me. So if I click over here, show more, I can click on groups and I can follow people who are groups. I can just go to my connections, and this is my database on LinkedIn at the moment. So I can literally start connecting with these folks. Message. If I want to have one-on-one, I can go click on them, see what they're doing in what's going on in their world, right? What are they posting about? So as I do these things, it's just super important to keep in mind that now I can come in here and quickly and easily manage my network. But the fact of the matter is, when they are sitting here segmenting your network for you, you got to take advantage of that. But again, they're only going to segment the people you may know based on those things if your profile is complete. So step number one today, if you haven't been on LinkedIn in a while or you haven't been active in a while, the only task for today is go in and get your profile complete. Fill out your job history, bring in your bio, right? And for a lot of you, if you've used Jeff or your manager to write the bio, it's literally a copy and paste, right, into the platform.
And you don't know who's reading it, right? And you don't know.
And you don't. Right, which is why it's important that DISC comes in.
That's right.
Right. So
now, do you need to buy the upgraded one? Is there any benefit for doing that? As I'm looking at mine here, you know, hey, buy the 1 month free for the.
Yeah. So there is some advantages to it, right? From a data perspective, they share more data with you, so you get to see, who's coming in. You can directly message people who are not currently connected with, where you cannot do that if you are not connected with them. So, and you're not on the premium subscription. So there's some things there. But, I think I would start out with the free. I wouldn't let that be a barrier. Be like, oh, if I'm not going to pay for it, then I shouldn't use it. No, that's not the case at all. You should be using this platform 100%, but there is some advantages, and there's definitely some advantages when you're searching, and I'll show you that in a second because this search bar is pretty powerful too. But real quick, just one more time as we go through this network. So what they do is I have people in my real estate industry, right? People you may know in greater Tampa Bay area. Interesting. So you're telling me that all I have to do if I want to grow professionals, people with jobs who live in the Tampa Bay area, which is the area that I'm a real estate agent in, and I want to grow my network, and all I have to do is sit here, click see all, and then click the little connect button, boom, 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 and start adding them to my network.
And it's just like Facebook in a way too. Like I get friend requests from people. I'm like, I don't know who the hell they are, but then you see you have 36 mutual connections, mutual friends, and you click them, you're like, oh, okay, it's that group. I'm sure I met them somewhere along the line. Click, right? And there's comfort, right? They're
100%.
not strangers.
So you think that this guy, if I connect with Lewis and he sees that we have 700 mutual connections, he's not going to accept that?
Right.
Of course he is, right? And what they're doing is they're pulling in. The reason that this is people you may know is because you have common connections. But here's the difference. They're doing it based on my target market. They're doing it based on where I live. Facebook doesn't do that. Facebook will say, oh, you and Jeff know Susie who lives in Iowa. Well, that's great, but that doesn't help me from a business perspective. This does. This is saying, hey, you and Jeff know Susie who lives in Tampa. You should probably connect with her. Great. And the same thing's going to be in Orlando. The same thing's going to be in Palm Beach. Wherever you're an agent and you log into your LinkedIn and it shows that that's where you are, it's going to start building out your network of people who live around you. Okay. And then obviously by industry too. That's why it was the real estate section up here. So just keep that in mind that this is already doing it for you. Okay. And that's just, it's huge. And then you can actively do things too. So I know that we have a couple agents that are specifically doing stuff with divorce attorneys. So I could come up here. Well, my wife's probably not going to appreciate this search, but
you're now on a whole new algorithm.
Yeah.
You're just on a high sell score.
I'm going to start seeing some really weird ads that my wife's not going to appreciate now. Great.
Remind just bumped you up.
But as an example, if I search this though, I can find divorce attorneys in my area and start connecting. So if my niche is I want to connect with divorce attorneys or personal injury attorney or anyone, right? Doesn't matter. I can do the same thing with doctors. Just literally search doctor. And it will start pulling up people who are in your area that are doctors. So from a niche perspective, this is an awesome tool because it doesn't just have to be random niches. This could be, hey, I am Jimmy McNally and I worked at Best Buy. So that means that I have an easy connection point with other people who worked at Best Buy. So I'm going to search Best Buy and then I'm going to come in and I'm going to click people. And this is going to give me people who work at Best Buy. And then I'm going to come to Jade because Jade is a general manager at Best Buy. And maybe Jade came in after me. That's okay. But I'm going to reach out to Jade and connect with Jade because he's going to see, and look, Jimmy McNally already is, ironically enough. But I'm going to connect with Jade. Does this make sense? This is simple stuff. But I think just breaking it down to say, okay, I used to work here. For me, right? I'm a UT guy. There's not that many University of Tampa people in Tampa still. So I could literally come here, search University of Tampa, and connect with other UT alum. I can tell you firsthand if someone messages me about doing business with them and they're not a UT alum, and then someone does, and they mention, hey, we're both UT alum, that's going to get my attention way more, right or wrong. It just is, because we have a commonality. And I feel almost an allegiance to them, and that I owe it to them to respond or connect. Okay. So that is super powerful, but it's only powerful if we leverage it. So for me to search that and then come and find connection points, right? So look at this. 15,095 alumni work in the greater Tampa Bay area. This is why I love LinkedIn. You guys, this doesn't happen on Facebook. You don't get this kind of data. So for me to be able to click on this and say, oh, cool, who are they? Well, LinkedIn will tell you. If I want to search between certain years, I can do that too. So the power of this from a sales perspective, if we want to put, as Craig always says, we're putting sales back in the real estate business. This is sales, guys. If I was selling a product, right? If I was selling a service in a market, the very first thing I'm doing is this. I'm going to find everyone in my network that I have a connection point to and start reaching out to them to try and sell my service that it's relevant to, right? So if we do the same thing, do you think someone that went to the same school as you, if Jeff searched University of Florida, and obviously there's a lot more of them, but if you found someone that went to UF, are they more likely to do business with you because you went to UF? Very likely. More so than if you didn't. So that's the power. And so now I click on that, right? And it brings up 37,000 where they live. And I can start segmenting down where they live. Now I only want to see the people who live in Tampa and St. Pete. Cool. Here they are. And it will give me them. And then I can connect with every single one of them. Now, because I have an upgraded LinkedIn, what I can do is pretty powerful compared to what you can't do if you don't. So see this view in Sales Navigator. Because I have Sales Navigator, I can actually pull all these connections in, and I can mass message, and I can pull emails, and I can do things, connect with them on a different level. I can build audiences off of them from an ad perspective. So I can do some things that you can't, but you certainly can search them. You certainly can see who they are, and you certainly can come in here and with one click do the connect thing, right? And again, you don't have to do it with everyone, but the ability to come in here and just say, okay, I have 38 shared connections with Marta. I'm going to connect with her. And a lot of times it tells you when they graduated from the University of Tampa. So now if I wanted to be super contextual and I wanted to connect with Marta and I wanted to reach out to Marta to see what was going on in her world, I know that she graduated from the University of Tampa at 99 in finance. So I can click on Marta. If I want to learn a little bit more about her, come on, computer's being slow. And I can see, what else did she do? She graduated in finance. Okay, it tells me she likes data, right? So what else is there about Marta that I can learn? There it goes. Oh, we got a chat. Let's see what that is. So our chat is, do you think it's worth it to upgrade, especially for a new agent who's looking for mass exposure? Like I said, Christina, I think, she asked if it was in the chat, if it was worth it to upgrade. There are definitely some powerful things. You have to leverage it to make it make sense. So you do have to constantly run campaigns, or you leverage the upgrade, right? So you really have to be super active on the platform in order for it to make sense. Honestly, if you're not using the platform at all, I would start by just getting in the habit of using it. Once you're in the habit of using it and you get comfortable with it and you're connecting with people and you're messaging and you're creating content for the platform, then I would say it may be worth it to take it to that next level, right? And be able to do it. I don't know if it's worth it at the individual agent level. We leverage this from a recruiting perspective, right? So for us, it is certainly worth it to have the upgraded account. I just don't know if it is at the agent level, unless you're really, really leveraging the platform.
So your search history is divorce attorneys, and now you're stalking Marta's page. So I think we need to be sending Courtney a message that she should be on high alert on what's going on here.
So Courtney is definitely. So I might actually need that divorce attorney here in a second. No. So my point though is that she lives in Tampa, right? So I know we have this common connection here from the University of Tampa. She graduated in '99 with finance. She went on to get a master's as an accountant. So what does that tell me about her? Well, it tells me that she's very likely analytical. She likes data. She likes numbers. Okay, good. Now I'm going to come down. I can read some things. What are the recommendations? So she's apparently a real estate agent. Now, here's what's interesting. I've never even heard of this. Jeff, have you heard of this? Have you? Apparently that's a real estate brokerage. Okay. Well, happened to click on a real estate agent. I didn't realize she was in real estate. But you see how she's kind of leveraging this, but she could be doing so much more with this. But this is what I'm talking about from getting people. Now she's got other professionals writing reviews about her, right? Which is huge. And so if she was really leveraging this, that would be even more so. But you see my point. If she wasn't in real estate, I'm going to see what she did for a living. And then I'm going to connect with her. And then we're going to have a one-on-one conversation, knowing that I need to be a little bit more analytical with her than someone who is a creative director at an ad agency.
Well, let's go a little different angle on this one. Let's say you type into Remine and you find a medium score, highest sell score, and you find a name and you copy and you paste it into LinkedIn. And then you find out that it's Marta. Now you find out what she does. Now you see she's more analytical. So now you want to send her a message, send a direct message, say, hey, Marta, this is Mike Puma. Right around the corner from your house over on La Hacienda Drive here in Indian Rocks Beach. I'm reaching out to my absentee owners. I know you live in Chicago. How are things? What can I do to help you? That's not a pitch for anything at all. I hope you're having a great week. Bye. Right? Or a video text or something at that level. This is what I love LinkedIn for and Facebook. And this is so much better to try to find those commonalities and connections in their jobs and how they write and all their posts and everything. It's just excellent. So leverage this, guys. Expireds, pull them up. Right? Absentees, pull them up. Everything.
Yep. Yeah, I like LinkedIn to leverage that idea so much more than I even like Facebook. I'm not saying don't do it on Facebook. If you have the time and you really want to do it right, I would do it on all of them. But I love it on LinkedIn because LinkedIn, there's so much more opportunity for it to find a commonality or connection point. And I just think there's so much data hidden within what you do for a living, how long you've done it, the reviews that people have written about you. What are the words? How are they describing you? Right? That's why I love the recommendations, because I'll read those on someone before I connect with them, because how are other people describing them? Because then I'll use those same type of words when I reach out to them, right? Knowing that who they are. It creates a different level. So this is, I don't know if I want to complicate it any more than that. Let's quickly go into actually posting content. So guys, 99% of the time, if you're leveraging the daily posts that I put out on Facebook, Instagram, whatever, you can use that same post here. So that's going to work. And it doesn't have to be professional content all the time. So I'll just click on my profile real quick. As an example, so like this was that funny video that I did, which you can see like even humorous content still can work really well on the platform. This had 612 views organically. Now Now, obviously, this video was meant for real estate agents, so you can see my hashtag related to that. And so that's the key, right? Just make sure you're leveraging hashtags, but use them so that they're relevant to who you're trying to get the attention of. But it doesn't have to be this serious content all the time. But I will say that the daily post will work on this platform. And if you like to write, then come in and write. But this is the perfect opportunity to do it. So if you go back here, if I come to write a post and I click on this, you're going to see I can create an event just like I could on Facebook. So if you're doing an open house, for you not to come in and create an event for that open house, I know a lot of you don't even have time to do open houses because the homes are so quickly. But for those of you that do, to not come into LinkedIn and create an event for that open house and then leverage that across a network of professionals in Tampa Bay is doing your client an injustice. So you absolutely should be coming in and creating an event. You should come in here as you get a client testimonial. I would turn that into a little article or screenshot it, right? You get something out of Real Satisfied. If you're not screenshotting that and coming here and loading it as a photo or coming in here and copying and pasting that, you're not leveraging the platform the way that you could. It's that simple. If you like to write articles, here's an easy way to write an article. They literally format it for you. You can add a nice image and you can write a headline and you can write an article. So there's no excuse with this platform, whether it's video, whether it's picture, whether it's text, you can do it. And they make it super easy. And I think you'll find that you're going to get so much further and bigger reach on this platform, probably than you ever are on your business page on Facebook. And again, your target market here are all professionals who have jobs, which is a pretty good thing in the industry we're in. Are there any questions, concerns, anything that doesn't make sense?
How much time do you think realistically we should put aside to do this?
So, I mean, listen, I'm a huge believer in the daily guide that we put together, right? So I really think that I'm a little biased because of how quickly I guess I can do it. And so maybe I underestimate how long it takes sometimes. I can tell you that I could accomplish that daily guide in under 30 minutes.
Yep.
Easily, right? So that I'm going to assume that means that someone who doesn't do this for a living might take an hour. So I don't know. I mean, for me, and mind you, I'm not saying sit down for an hour and do this. I'm saying an hour over the course of the day. So honestly, if you said, okay, in the morning, right, while I'm eating my breakfast, I'm going to spend 20 minutes and do a section of this. And then at lunchtime, I'm going to do 20. And then at the very end of my day, before I call it quits, I'm going to spend another 20 minutes and do this, and literally put in your calendar, post on social, or do daily marketing guide, and set it up every Monday through Friday, 20-minute segments. And it may not even take you that long, but if it did, you're talking about an hour of your day in total that you're going to give yourself the framework and opportunity to hit the right person at the right time, which will lead to a transaction.
And for those of you working the absentees, the way that we're talking about, take a little bit extra time. If you're pulling out every absentee owner in Champions Gate or in, Mar-a-Lago, whatever area you're working on, pull them out. There's no more than a few hundred of them, right? So what if you said, all right, I'm going to hit 30 of them a day for the next 2 weeks, and I'm going to knock out everybody in this neighborhood. What if you're farming, right? And you print out the list of everybody in your farm, and you actually went down the list and you went to friend requests and then connect with them on LinkedIn, everybody in your area, set a separate spreadsheet. You have a separate Facebook group, you have a separate group inside of LinkedIn. Guys, if this is really your career, It's not hard, right? You have such a target, a small group of people. If you're going to completely work on to become top of mind and stay top of mind with them, that's the whole name of the game. Now you automatically have all the people in your network already. But reach out and say, hey, how you doing? What are your guys' plans for the holidays? I was thinking about you. Hope you're doing well. Boom. That's part of the marketing guide, to spend the time, especially right now. Yes, we're going into, this is really the last focused week this week for the rest of the year, because everyone screws off next week and the week after that most of the time. So this is the last week. Understand that, appreciate that. We all need to take a little breather, but people are going to be on their phones. They're going to be sitting around. They're going to be chilled out. They're going to be screwing around at work more than they normally do. This is the time to send the messages, guys. If you haven't done any, do 5. If you're normally doing 10, do 30. If you're normally doing 30, do 50, right? Take the time and just knock it out and just connect, guys. You need one good appointment a week. You need one person to think about you every week, right? That's going to do something. It's not hard, guys. This is the time. I really, 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 from my heart, want you to have the best quarter you've ever had in the history of your career. And it's poised. It's perfect. Everything's perfect right now. Rolling into 2021 for you to have the best year ever, the best quarter you've ever contemplated. And it's so simple. Just do the stuff we're talking about, guys. Just connect, become top of mind. It's impossible not to be wildly successful as long as you're talking with people and connecting with them, and then using the skills we're constantly teaching and reinforcing to make sure when you do get a chance to connect, that you're connecting and mirror and matching and DISC and VAK and understanding what's going on in the world, guys. It's really, really, really a simple process. That's what I hope you're getting from us, continually doing this every day to help you make sure that it's easy and simple for you.
And what the other really positive thing about LinkedIn, at least from me and from most people that I've seen, and I'm sure will hold true with you, this isn't my mom, this isn't my dad, right? I don't use this personally. So my network is filled with real people that I need to prospect with, I need to stay top of mind with, and I need to connect with, right? This isn't my friend Joey. This isn't my cousin. This isn't my mom. This isn't my dad. This isn't my sister, right? And I have a lot of that on Facebook, and I have a lot of that on Instagram. And so when I'm on those platforms in my feed, and the people that are constantly seeing and engaging are people that already really know me, right, in a way. So that's really good. I'm not saying that's bad. That's great. You still need to stay top of mind with all of those people. What you're going to find here, though, is that you're going to be able to stay top of mind with people that are an arm length away from your typical network. And so what I like about it is it's a fresh group of people. I have a lot of duplication amongst Facebook and Instagram. I don't have that here. Like, there are very few people. When I make content here and I post it, the people who are engaging are people that I do not a lot of times either know or connect with on a regular basis. So this is giving me the opportunity to connect with people in a whole new way and grow a whole new sphere.
So think about this one. I just for fun, just hashtag Madeira Beach, just playing around here on my phone while we're talking. I found a guy I didn't know who runs a beach chair business on the beach. Is that a good guy to know? Right? If you work Madeira Beach, is that a good guy to know? He sits there and hangs out with tourists all day, every day. They're here in town, right? That should be your buddy. You think you can maybe go interview him and talk to him about what it's like to be the chair guy, hanging out, post him out there, help his business. He helps you, give him a stack of cards, give him a little Christmas present, do stuff to grow your network. The other one's a little coffee shop that's opening up in town. Another one did IRB, a couple new restaurants opening up in town. Guys, it's so many opportunities for you. There's too many. That's the issue. So just put your wall up, pick the lane. And if you're going to be going into a market, a niche, a farm, a neighborhood, there's no easier way just to go all in, guys. Between LinkedIn and Forewarn and Remind and property appraisals, MLS. I mean, guys, you really have everything at your thumb to have everything you ever possibly wanted. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
So good.
Just a matter of whether or not you're committed to your goal. And if you are, then you're going to take these steps. And if you're not, then you're not, right? And that's okay. But it's time to be self-aware enough to realize that.
If you're not, it's not okay. If you're not committed to your goals. If you
From
can
our
tell us
perspective,
that
it's
you're
not.
committed, if you can tell us for sure, if you could sell us that you're committed to not being committed to anything, we'll accept that. But you're gonna have to sell us on that fact. If not, we're gonna assume that you're having a trouble figuring out your why, and we're gonna pull you out of your hole, and we're gonna shake you around, and we're gonna point you in the direction to put whatever lifestyle it is that puts a big ass smile on your face, guys. It's too easy right now. It's too simple. Everything is perfectly aligned for you right now to grab it, to have an amazing, amazing, amazing lifestyle that puts a big ass smile on your face. Not a bunch of money necessarily, because that's not necessarily going to put a smile on your face. Lifestyle, right? What is the lifestyle that puts a big ass smile on your face? That's all what this is about. And then all of these work beautifully well. And so this is just another one. So figure out what's firing you up today and then go all in on that this week. And I really recommend and take an hour or two today and tomorrow. If you don't have an appointment, make an appointment with yourself and say, I'm going to go connect with 50 people today, and then connect with them. That should be priority one.
Yep. And if you need help, guys, reach out. If you're struggling on a platform, if you are struggling on LinkedIn, whatever, reach out to me. I'm happy to help guide you through it. Happy to help give you advice. I know Brenda just put in the chat that she was going to start farming consistently using LinkedIn, and she'd be connecting with us so that we could monitor her and try and give her pointers. I'm happy to help, but there's too many of you for me to constantly be monitoring. I do see a lot of your guys' stuff in my feeds because I have connected with a lot of you on at least one of the platforms. But if you need help, you need guidance, you need anything, reach out. Happy to help you in any way that I can. But I need you to show me that you really want to do it. I can't just make you do it. So I'm here if you guys need anything.
Cool. I think that's a great tool to play around, especially as we're going into next week holiday season. This week is still full on, guys. So go full throttle this week and screw off next week if your schedule allows you to. So have a wonderful day. Thank you, Puma.
See you